In late 2024, a group of dedicated individuals were chosen to begin their journey together in January of 2025. They made up cohort 4225-01, who we recognize today. What started as a simple number on a roster has transformed into what we celebrate today. A team of clinicians forged through hard work, perseverance, and a shared commitment to excellence. We are honored to continue our long-standing collaboration with Team Health, whose generosity makes this luncheon and recognition ceremony possible. For more than 4 decades, Team Health has stood alongside us in supporting EMS education, and we look forward to many, many more years of that partnership. As we begin, please join me in expressing our deepest gratitude to Team Health for their unwavering support and for helping us celebrate the incredible achievements of this cohort.
Hear, hear.
I would like to also take this moment to recognize and thank our special guests who have joined us from city and county officials, service directors, and agency staff. Your presence reflects the strong support network behind these graduates. And to the family and friends that are here, thank you for standing behind them, and pushing them forward through the long hours, challenges, and sacrifice. We often say it takes a village to help individuals grow, and today is proof of that truth. Without each of you, this achievement would not have been possible. These individuals before us have accomplished remarkable tasks this year, and we're here to celebrate their success and mark this truly meaningful occasion. Thank you for being part of this special day. Before we turn our attention to the true stars of today, the outstanding candidates we're here to celebrate, I want to recognize 2 groups whose efforts are absolutely vital to the success of this program. The first is our Roane State EMS Program Advisory Board. The board represents a diverse and dedicated coalition of stakeholders, employers, hospital leaders, physicians, graduates, students, community members, and college representatives. Their involvement goes far beyond meeting the minimum requirements. They demonstrate an unwavering commitment to shaping a program that sets the highest standards for paramedic education. So please help me in extending our sincere gratitude to the advisory board for their vision and guidance. Thank you. The second group I want to recognize are the unsung heroes of Roane State, the individuals who work tirelessly behind the scenes to keep everything running smooth. Some of them you interact with regularly, while others quietly ensure that every detail falls into place. In a moment, you'll hear from our president, who will echo the truth as well. Roane State thrives because of the incredible efforts of our support staff and our administrative assistants. These are the ones who keep us organized, on schedules, and equipped with the resources you all need to succeed. I want to offer our sincere thanks to Tammy Robinette, Tyler Teague, Eiley Hancock, and Jessica Jones from our Harriman campus and the Health Science Division office, as well as Jennifer Provine and Christina Beeson, who are here from our Knox campus as well. And of course, there are many others across the college whose contributions allow our EMS faculty to focus on delivering the exceptional education you deserve. For those, if you would, please help me recognizing those individuals. In the military community, a cohort number represents more than just an identifier. It becomes a symbol of unity, pride, and shared purpose. From the very first day of training, that number transforms into a mantra, a reminder that the group has achieved something far greater than any individual effort. As someone who has sat in the seats just like you, I can attest to the profound bond that forms within a cohort. It becomes a lifelong source of camaraderie and family. Even today, I remain connected with my classmates spread across the state, and our bond remains as strong as ever. The candidates before you began their journey in January 2025 as cohort 4225-01. That designation is more than a number. It represents their shared experiences, challenges, and triumphs that have united them as family in EMS. This bond will stay with them throughout their careers, and for many throughout their lives. And some of them they'll say whether they want it to or not. Over the past year, these candidates have committed themselves to an intensive and demanding program, more than 1,250 hours of lecture, labs, and field works, 20 rigorous exams, countless quizzes, clinical rotations across multiple hospitals, and 3 semesters of immersive field experience, some traveling between 2 time zones almost on a daily basis, all while continuing to serve their communities with dedication and professionalism. Now they stand just days away from the State of Tennessee practical examination and National Registry cognitive examination, the final steps to earning the esteemed state of Tennessee paramedic license. Their perseverance, resilience, and determination are truly commendable. So congratulations to each of you on reaching this milestone, and thank you for choosing Roane State as your partner in this journey. Welcome to the Raider Medic family.
Yes. Here, here.
And now it's time to do what we came here to do, and that's to celebrate each of you and this incredible journey that you have completed. You spent the past year learning, growing, and working alongside actually 3 individuals who have guided you at every step of the way. I can assure you of one thing: none of them brought a quiz, exam, or another ology for you to study today. I'm not going to guarantee that, because Marty does have a nice little binder down here, and you're not ever sure what is in there for you. It is my honor to introduce your faculty members, beginning with Mr. Marty Young.
We'll get out this fancy binder that you mentioned. I want to start off by saying how special it is to see so many friends and family members here today. Thank you for coming out to celebrate this graduating class of paramedics. I know you're proud of them. I am too. In a moment, I will share with you why I am so proud of them. But before I do that, I want to spend a few minutes talking about something else. I want to talk about the difference between what the world says is important versus what is important to an on-duty paramedic. For example, the world says that what is important is your race and the color of your skin. But that is not important to a paramedic. A paramedic knows that all of the color in your skin is found in your epidermis, the very top layer. And that layer is, on average, only 1 millimeter thick. A paramedic knows that when you go below that 1 millimeter layer, we are all literally the same color. Another example. The world says that what is important is how much money you have, but that is not important to a paramedic. A paramedic knows that a pair of trauma shears will cut through a $300 designer Italian shirt just as easily as it will cut through a $7 t-shirt from Walmart. And a paramedic knows that a person who wrecks a fancy sports car can end up just as dead as a person driving an old, rusted-out pickup truck. The world says that what is important is the country you come from, but that is not important to a paramedic. A paramedic knows that when he or she places an endotracheal tube between your vocal cords, whether or not you speak English or Spanish suddenly becomes irrelevant at that point. The world says lots of things, and most of it is not important to a paramedic. But I do want to share with you what I believe is the most important thing for a paramedic to know, and it is this fact: that we are all fellow human beings, that we are all fellow travelers on this journey that we call life, on this road that carries us all from birth to death, and that we are called to care for our fellow travelers along the way. Now, obviously, I did not come up with that idea on my own. A man much wiser than I am talked about this a long time ago. In fact, he even told a story about this very thing just to drive his point home. He told a story about a traveler who was walking down a road when he was suddenly and brutally attacked by a gang of thugs who beat him, robbed him, and left him lying bloodied in a ditch. Later, other travelers came walking down that road. They saw the man lying in the ditch, but they did not stop. In fact, some of them even crossed to the opposite side of the road just to get as far away from him as they could. But eventually, a man came walking down the road, a man from the small region of Samaria, and he saw the man lying in the ditch and he had compassion on him. He stopped, bandaged his wounds, picked him up, and carried him down the road to an inn where he could recover. Now earlier, David said that I was not going to give you a quiz. In his defense, he did not know that I am now going to give you a quiz.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. If you know the answer, just blurt it out.
Was the first paramedic, obviously.
You do not need to raise your hand. Just say it. Here's your quiz question. Who was the person who told that story? Right, right. And after he finished telling that story, he looked at those who had gathered around and he said these words, "Go and do likewise." Now, I said I would tell you why I'm so proud of these graduates. It's because they have chosen to go and do likewise. They started going and doing likewise as EMTs. They continued doing likewise as advanced EMTs. And now they will do so as paramedics. In my opinion, there is no higher calling than to care for our fellow travelers on this journey. Now, obviously, there are many, many ways to care for our fellow travelers. These graduates have chosen to do so by being paramedics. So, to my class, I want to say, thank you for answering the call. Thank you for going and doing likewise. And I want you to know that I am so very, very proud of you.
If y'all would, let me make a little note to take off quiz. or I need to put instruction on that next part. Next, it's my privilege to introduce a new faculty member who stepped in at the last semester for you guys. So we're going to bring up Mr. C.H. Jesse.
It's hard to follow what Marty said, so I'll make mine short and sweet. I kind of come in as a relief person, and it was easy for me to take over this class from what Brett done. And I appreciate y'all, what y'all done, and welcome me into the class. So I'm going to defer my speech back over to Brett and let him talk, because I feel that it's his class still. So, but I wish y'all the best of luck. Don't stop learning, because if you do, McDonald's is always hiring.
And since CH already did it, while he might wear a different uniform now, we are welcome back our family, Mr. Brett McElroy.
Well, I ain't gonna say a whole lot. I love each and every one of y'all, and y'all mean a whole lot to me. It was a tough year, and look who's left. I'm very proud of y'all. One thing I want to make sure y'all understand is when you start going down that road where you think nobody cares, nobody's there for you. Here's a show. So, anyway, I love y'all. Congratulations. Be good.
And now I'm going to welcome up Dr. Patricia Jenkins, Dean of Health Science, to say a few words.
Well, I'm vertically challenged, so I'm going to need to move this down.
Nice catch.
All right, there we go. All right, I want to talk just to the class because I don't have the opportunity to talk to the class very often. So I brought my cell phone with me, and I want you to imagine with me the scene. I'm at home, and I need to call you, so I've called 911. And you arrive at my house. So I want you to tell me how you're arriving at my house. Walk me through how you're coming. What are you coming in? What do you have with you? Come on, talk to me.
An ambulance.
You're in an ambulance. What's in the ambulance?
Our stretcher, the first aid bag, smuggler.
Got all kinds of stuff, right? We got drugs. You got lots of drugs in there. You got drugs. You got a stretcher. What else you got in there? You got you. Okay, so out of all that stuff in that ambulance, what's the most important equipment that comes out of that ambulance?
Us.
You. And why are you the most important piece of equipment that comes out of that ambulance?
Because none of the rest of the stuff works without us.
None of it works without you, but what do you have that none of the other stuff has? You have knowledge. You have skills. You have abilities. And when you come on this scene, are you going to find me coming to the door and saying, I'm so glad you showed up. Let me bring you in. I have cookies and I have a fresh pot of coffee. Come on in. I need to chat. Is that why I've called you? That's not why I've called you. I may not even be able to answer my door, right? And you've got to come in. So am I going to be really cool, calm, collected when you come in? Possibly. Or am I going to be a little anxious? I may not even be able to speak to you, right? So you have all your knowledge, your skills, and abilities. And part of that is that therapeutic self. So when you come in, you can say, now, Ms. Jenkins, we're here to help you. We got you. And you know what that's going to do to that patient, that person? It's going to help calm them down. And it's going to let them know, I got somebody here to help me when I can't help myself. Because if I could have helped myself, you know what I'd have done? I'd have gotten in my car and I'd have taken care of it and I'd have gone. I can't help myself. So congratulations on finishing a very rigorous program of study. And remember, out of all the skills that you bring, you are the most important piece of equipment out of that truck. And when you talk to your patients, that communication is powerful, okay? Congratulations.
Those who've been around just a little while, there was a professor from just a little bit east of us who said sometimes the only thing a person needs is a kind word and a gentle touch. So, next, I invite our Vice President of Student Learning and Chief Academic Officer at Roane State to share a few words as well. Please welcome Vice President Diane Ward.
Well, it's a hard group to follow. After I heard Marty's speech, I thought, well, I just need to ball that up, put it in my purse, and head on to the house. But I do want to take an opportunity to congratulate this class. You know, you think about what and all you've trained for, and I try to wrap my head around, I'm not a paramedic, so you think about, okay, an EMT doctor, an ER doctor, an EMT, a paramedic. What does that training really look like? And what kind of rigorous days that you've had, the things that you've seen, the things that you have to deal with and take home. And I think about it, when I was thinking about it driving in, I thought, you know what, you train for the moment that a person needs you the most. And most likely, it's the worst day of their life. And so you chose that profession, and wow, I just want to say thank you for doing that. Remember, in that chaos, that your presence there, you can bring the calm to a chaotic situation, and you can bring hope to somebody's fear. So trust your training. You've got a phenomenal group of faculty that have trained you. Trust that training when you're out there. But never forget, and I'll use David's words, I've heard that story more than once, but I think it holds true. Never, ever forget the impact that a calm, steady voice can have in two caring hands on a day that's most likely the worst day of someone's life. So for that, I do want to tell you, thank you that you chose to serve those fellow journeyers on this life. But thank you for choosing to do that, for giving your life to your community and making a difference. Congratulations.
Well, for those that have been coming around a little while, normally next is our advisory board chair, Jonathan Rogers. And he is stuck in training himself today, was not able to be here, so he sent along a fellow compatriot from service. So we're going to welcome up Regional Director Greg Miller to say a couple words on behalf. Thank you, David. And I will have to raise this back up. I love coming to paramedic graduations, and I've been to many over my years. But it's refreshing to see a new group that is entering into this club. It's refreshing to know that there's still a group of people, as Marty said, that want to answer that call. But it's also refreshing to us. It's glad that the relief is showing up because we're ready to retire. There's only one thing that I want to say to you. You have met through this past year basically two different types of paramedics as you performed your clinicals and your internships. And you met the paramedic that was kind and compassionate, that was patient with you, that explained some of the treatment modalities, some of the pharmacokinetics of the drugs you were trying to learn. Many times during this past year, you probably felt like you were drinking from a fire hydrant, but this person was so kind to help you. And then I dare say you were on clinicals and internship rotations where you met the other paramedic, one that was salty and rude and probably somewhat impatient. And you asked yourself, why do they do this? I only want to charge you with this. Every day you go to work, make it your mental goal to be more like the paramedic that drew you and helped you complete this training, rather than the one that you saw. Every mode of healthcare, every mode of business has good and bad. If you'll always strive to lead more like the one that was good, then you'll always go home and lay your head on your pillow with a certain amount of peace in your heart. Congratulations. Next, we have a close and personal friend, but we got to take a little second because we got to get it set up for a comedy session here. And next, usually brings a little laughter to the realm as well. But we have, again, a close and personal friend, co-founder and president of practice development from Team Health, as well as a physician medical director for Knox County, Dr. Randall Dabbs.
I feel like I'm at paramedic church up here listening to all that talk about stuff. Well, I'm going to give you another little, just to sprig it. So there's a verse in the Bible that talks about, you are judged by how you treat the least of us. So, when I was a director of the ER at University Hospital, I found that little verse and I stuck it up in the doctor's lounge back in the back. Because we as emergency people, we just like, I couldn't say it any better than what Marty said. In fact, I want Marty to type that up and send it to me, because I will quote him many times. I don't care where he got it from, but I will quote him and I'll try to steal it like it, like was my own thoughts. But we see some, and it's not like you've never seen that before, because you've already been an EMT for a while. So you've been on lots of trips and you have seen some pretty tough individuals in some pretty tough situations, and how they got there, is pretty amazing, right? People would come into the ER and I'd say, now, how did you do this? And they would let you know, and it would just, it's really hard not for your eyes to get big and say, you did what? Right? Because that's what we do, is like, is that possible to be done? Is that how you got where you got? But we're asked not to. I don't care how they got where they're at. That's not my business. My business is trying to figure out what to do for them, and how to care for them in the period of time that I'm going to get to interact with them. So So I thought that verse was very good, and so I just remembered that, our patients, your patients, and again, we're related. I mean, we're kin to each other. We have the same infected, we're infected with this emergency virus or something, emergencitis, whatever you want to call it, that we like to see stuff like that. We like to take care of people who do these bizarre things to themselves, and get in trouble or get injured or whatever they do. We love that kind of stuff. And it's really hard not to go home and tell your family, let me tell you what I saw. I can tell you, but I can't tell you who it was, because that might not be all that HIPAA violation stuff, that we talked about. So, again, I have learned over a period of time that those of us who are infected with this, now some of you may be pretending, but I think if you've gotten this far, you can pretend as an EMR and after a while say, yeah, I don't want to do this. Or you can pretend maybe as an EMT in a while, and you see a bunch of these people and you say, I don't want to do this. Maybe I need to do something else. I need to go into teaching or something like that where I don't see this kind of stuff. But most likely we're already infected. So we've got it, and also I'd like for, but there is just a small comparison that I just want you to think of, and you can blame me. We got some beautiful babies. I saw Nathaniel, who's absolutely incredible. I'm not sure what that little fella's name is, but I'm sure he's just as beautiful and as incredible as Nathaniel that I saw today. But all of our babies may not be as pretty as these two babies. So what I want you to think about the next time you go out and you see a patient who's not a very pretty patient, right? You think, look, he's my ugly baby. That's what I want you to think. Look, once they're yours, if these babies had been the ugliest things that they had ever seen, you know what? They would have loved them just like if it was the prettiest baby they had ever seen. That's the fact of life. Now, it's great that they're pretty, and it's great when our patients that you guys see out in the world, and we see them in the ER, and they're nice, they're thankful, they're clean, they're not drunk, they're not on drugs, they're not infected, they're not mean, hateful, cursing, spitting at you, which they do sometimes. And you're thinking, I'd like to leave them out here and just let them die because that's what they deserve. That's what we think. That's what we're going to think at times. And then I want you to think, I remember Dr. Dabbs said, once they're yours, they're yours. Pretty baby or ugly baby, they're my baby. And I got to love them while I'm here with them. That's how, we deal with them all, the pretty ones and the ugly ones. And I tell that story as much as I can to let people know that, especially for those of us in the emergency world that we deal in, is that you're just different. So you got a mission, you got some sort of purpose. God gave you a gift to do what you do, and just don't forget that everybody doesn't have that gift. Everybody can't do what you do. We are blessed. I am blessed because I'm going to need your help one of these days. My family's going to need your help, and I just pray that it's somebody who's been trained at Roane State and that's going to treat them like they're your own ugly baby, because they may not be pretty. So, congratulations.
Keep that right in the thing. He said yes.
I told y'all, sometimes you got to stop and convert to the comedy bar. Thank you, Dr. Dabbs. Now I have the pleasure of welcoming the president of Roane State Community College to say a few words on behalf of the college. Please welcome President Chris Wade.
Yeah, I'm the one that gets to follow that. I'm not really sure I was trying to figure out, you had this parade of extremely competent and wonderful health science folks and all, I mean, really the meaningful things that you've said. I've just been, blown away here. And I was trying to find some correlation to the ugly babies, Dr. Dabbs. And so I think about, you get all these wonderful health science folks, and now you've got a lawyer up here. So what caps off all the wonderful, so thank goodness not only you take care of the babies that may not be that pretty, but also of lawyers too. I guess that's where my, so thank you, take care of lawyers too. I don't know. So I appreciate you, and there's nothing really that I could add other than specifically to say thank you for choosing Roane State. A lot of programs out there, a lot of places that you could have chosen. We're really honored that you chose Roane State. And toward that, I want to thank David. I want to thank these incredible faculty members, all the folks behind the scenes administratively and otherwise who make the programs go. I want them to hear me publicly say how grateful I am. There's a quote that I wanted to share, and I promise I'll be quick about this, but in some ways to me, maybe I'm the only one, it sort of captures the different things that have been said. You could agree or disagree with the first part of this Emerson quote, but I think probably would all agree at least with the second part of it. So Emerson said, "The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is, however, to be useful, to be honorable, and to be compassionate, to make some difference that you have lived and that you've lived well. To be useful, check for all of you. To be honorable, check for all of you. To be compassionate while you do it, check for all of you. And to make a difference, great big check. Thank you for what you're about to do. I feel safer knowing that you're out there in this great community, you and colleagues just like you. Thank you for your service."
Now, whenever you go to the night at the Improv, you usually have a few different people come up there. And so we've already had Dr. Dabbs. And now it's my privilege and honor to introduce our distinguished guest speaker. You don't get that said too much. Like, distinguished guest speaker. True pioneer in EMS profession who will help us begin this meaningful celebration of each of you today. With an incredible 45 years and 1 day of service to the EMS profession, our guest has worn nearly every hat this profession has to offer. Beginning as a student, he has advanced to ground medic, flight medic, service director, all roles that shaped his deep understanding of EMS from every angle. His commitment didn't stop there. He worked tirelessly on behalf of services and providers to elevate the profession across the state and the nation. He has served as chairman of the Air Ambulance Committee, a state board member, multiple term board chair, and has been a respected voice at the local, state, and national levels, where his career culminated as Executive Vice President of Government Relations for the largest ambulance service in the world, where his leadership and advocacy has left an indelible mark on EMS. Please join me in welcoming a true legend in our field, Mr. Robert Byrd.
Man, that sounded nice, didn't it? What's a chance for a replay on that? Let's just leave it there. I'm not going to need it anyway. Congratulations. It's good to be with you. I've had the good pleasure of talking to other paramedic graduations, and I've also had the pleasure of addressing your staff, President Whaley, at the Cumberland County campus last month. My family is so appreciative of Roane State, and I hope when you reach my age, which is a week away from 66 years old, you'll feel the same way. Roane State has touched me, my wife, my 4 children, and I'm sure it's going to touch my 3 grandchildren in the future. And we have put out some really good paramedics in East Tennessee through Roane State Community College. I may not have been one of them, but at least I get to hang out with you guys. I appreciate what you do. So much has been said by these leaders already. It's just phenomenal, the nuggets that you've been given already. And I hope you hang on to them. I journal because I can't remember enough. And I got really serious about journaling on October 5th, 1998. I journaled sporadically before, but since October 5th, 1998, I've journaled nearly every single day of my life. rarely a day gone by that I haven't journaled. And I go back, now that I've been retired for 19 months, I go back and I read my journal often, and I embarrass myself often because of some of the decisions I made as I was learning, as I was growing. But it's a great reflection to help keep me grounded, because I have been so immensely blessed in my career, undeservedly. And I know I deserved some of it. I've often told people that I wasn't qualified for some of the jobs I had. Now I'm gonna give some context to that, because obviously I was qualified to be a paramedic, and I was a good paramedic, and I know that. And that's not conceit, that's confidence with a record that backs that up. A few people in this room came up with me, and they've seen the worst of Robert Byrd. I see you smiling, Chief Sweet. They've seen the worst of Robert Byrd. We all have bad days. What's going to really be important to you paramedics is your support staff. You've got to keep your support staff in place. You've got to talk. Don't keep it bottled up. As a younger medic, and my journal reflects this, I didn't share some things, some of it out of insecurity, some of it out of embarrassment. As I've aged, I can reflect back on that and realize that was just silly. That was just immature. We're all the same. Every one of us are the same. Sometimes we get a break, sometimes we don't. You've got to have a strong support system, because you are going to be making life and death decisions. You're going to help with children that's going to pull on your heartstrings, especially when you go home to your own children and you reflect on that shift and what you saw. So it's really important that you have a strong support system, always, forever. Don't keep it bottled in, don't hold it inside. So when I say I really wasn't qualified, what I want to share is my personal journey, which became my professional journey, and it is my only journey now. It's my only journey, and that is, I came to realize, because I am a man of faith, and I don't push that on anyone, no one. I let my actions speak for themselves. If someone's interested, they'll come to me. But God doesn't choose the qualified. God qualifies his choice. Don't you ever forget that. The sky is the limit. I'm a simple old country boy from Morgan County, Tennessee, raised on a pig farm. I talk about pigs. Every presentation I've ever given, I talk about pigs. And I talked about them so much, I was invited once to Region 2 Directors Association to give a presentation. And the very first PowerPoint slide that came up was a pig in a trough. And the lesson I was teaching, about 300 people, was when I was 14 years old, I just thinking one day, one afternoon, feeding and watering the pigs. And we had a lot of pigs. We had 600 pigs, so it was a pretty serious pig farm. And I remember asking my dad, why is that pig always the fastest, the strongest, and first down here? And my dad said, well, son, you should know the answer. You've been feeding those pigs every day, twice a day, for a long time. And he said, the first to the trough gets the most. I've never been able to forget that. And I've been able to share that metaphor from Florida to New York to Washington to California and everything in between. And I wasn't qualified to share it. But God qualified me to put me in the positions that I'm in. A simple country boy from Morgan County, starting out at the smallest ambulance service in the state of Tennessee. 2 ambulances, sometimes just 1. And to go from that at 19 years old, see, I've been doing it so long, you didn't have to have an EMT license to get a job. We didn't have EMTs. We were just starting to train them. So I stepped into that role as, what do you hear this? Because I'm proud of it. I'm really one of the few people, I see you grinning, I'm one of the few people I've come across in the United States of America, and I've come across many in my travels in EMS. But I'm one of the few people that boldly claims with pride, I actually was a professional, certified ambulance driver. That's all I was. I didn't even have a CPR certification. Now, I was good enough to go on and spend about a decade over at UT Lifestar, and I left there and went to Anderson County as the director. And I was never offended by the word ambulance driver, but I noticed my staff was. They called me an ambulance driver. I've gone to school how long to become a paramedic? And I can give advanced medicine and do some crazy things out here that's awesome. And they think I'm just an ambulance driver. You know, they don't mean any harm with that. I'm proud I was an ambulance driver. It opened the door for me to dine with senators and governors and represent my company and my state across the nation when I was really never qualified, but just blessed, and I loved it. I loved what I did, and I still love it. Even in retirement, I get the opportunity to come back and share. And while I'm sharing with the crowd and your support system, who I'm really sharing with is you. Because I know what you're gonna do, I know what you're gonna feel, I know what you're gonna think, I know what color it's gonna be, because I've done it. I've worn the shoes, and I've made a lot of mistakes. But those mistakes were my best teaching tools, because here's the key to that. I was honest about them. I didn't sweep them under the rug. I wasn't dishonest. I just admitted it. And as I learned that discipline, and I encourage you to learn that discipline, become very, very honest about what you're doing, especially with your support people, because they're here to help you, and you're gonna need the help. And don't forget, the first to the trough gets the most. The sky really is the limit. You know, how does a person such as myself, because that's what I'm talking about here, go from an ambulance driver over a course of 4 decades to a vice president in the largest ambulance system on the entire globe, not just America. We were global. We still are global. Greg Miller's wearing his GMR patch. We're global. How do you go from an ambulance driver in Wartburg, Tennessee, to vice president of the largest system in the world? Well, first of all, it's about ethics. I had a real good work ethic. I wasn't that smart. I still can't spell to this day. I can't. I always struggled with spelling, but I put an extra effort in because I would face my weaknesses, and I would put extra effort in, and I asked for help. I would ask for, in all my years at Lifestar, when I would write a report, I would have my partner come and read that report before I would turn it in, because I knew that was one of my weaknesses. Face your weakness head on, and surround yourself with people smarter than you. The last thing I'll leave you with is, that's exactly what I did. When I left Lifestar and I came to Anderson County, I didn't know what to do. I put a good show on, but I didn't know how to be an EMS director. I had to learn it, but I surrounded myself with 6 assistant chiefs, and they were all smarter than me. I know you've been waiting to hear that. They were all smarter than me in select disciplines. And that's what made us so strong, is we recognized one's good here, one's good here, one's good here. We weren't masters of all. We were master of one thing. And we put that together and had a synergy. And one day the phone rang from the vice president of Air Medical Group Holdings, and he said, "We've been watching you. Listen to me, guys. You're being watched." And that's a good thing. You're being watched, and the sky's the limit. You can do anything you want to do. This is a noble calling, and I'm so happy for you. I'm excited for you. Congratulations, and I wish you the best. And last word, and this is for my friend Nathan Sweet, because I don't particularly believe in karma. Maybe there is karma, but I'm a man of faith. I intercepted Nathan Sweet from the Gatlinburg Fire Department, brought him over to Anderson County, and he moved up through the ranks quickly, become chief of training. Well, we didn't have enough office space, so I put him in the garage. with a big gas heater up here, and huge garage. That garage, it was huge at the time. It held 3 ambulances. And this is where his workstation was, so you're gonna appreciate that. Now that I'm retired and I'm going into woodworking, the only place I have for a shop is my garage. My desk is in the garage, Nathan. I want you to know. Congratulations, guys. I'm proud of it. Thank you.
All right, now I'd like to ask President Whaley and Dr. Dabbs to come up and help me with what everybody has come to see today. Take the opportunity to recognize each one of you all in your accomplishments. So when you hear your name, please come up and receive the first ever Paramedic Challenge coin and your first State of Tennessee Paramedic badge. Meadra Arwood. Charlene Davis. Matthew Hawk. Tabitha Hudson. Abby Jinks. And Joseph Shepard. And while they finalize their pictures there, I'm going to go ahead and have Dr. Dabbs remain. Thank you, President Whaley. And we're going to go into next for one of our most distinguished honors, the Roane State Paramedic of the Year. This tradition has been made possible through a long-standing partnership with Team Health and recognizes individuals selected by their peers for their exemplary qualities. The recipient is chosen for their outstanding leadership in the classroom, mastery of the curriculum, and overall professionalism and character. This year's honoree will join an elite group of past recipients who have gone on to achieve remarkable success in their careers. Among them are individuals who have become EMS service directors, emergency response coordinators, fire chiefs, and physician's assistants, and even one who's earned a place on an NFL roster. It is now my privilege to announce the 2025 Paramedic of the Year. This year's Paramedic of the Year is someone who truly embodies advocacy and a sense of adventure. If you know them, you know that road trips aren't just their hobby, they're a way of life. They believe pineapple, so I really disagree, and this was almost a disqualifying offense right here. They believe pineapple belongs on pizza, and yes, it is their favorite fruit, and brings that same boldness to everything they do. While not serving the Knoxville community through American Medical Response, you'll likely find them in Washington, D.C., almost twice a month, advocating. Their commitment to advocacy shines through their active participation in EMS on the Hill Day, but they make sure our voices are heard at the highest levels. And if you ever need a fun fact, ask them about duck liver. It looks like the flu under a microscope, and apparently it cures it as well. Now, I'm going to have to do a little bit more research on that. This individual is more than a paramedic. They're an advocate, a traveler who seeks to be better. Please join me in congratulating Meadra Arwood as our Paramedic of the Year. Now, we can't end, so I don't have the same power as President Whaley, so when he does graduation, this is my advocacy to come back in March. He's got these poppers now, he takes the first selfie. I don't take that away from him. But we do have a couple of instructions before we disband. There's one person that you never make mad, this is the photographer. So before we do leave, we'd like to get the class Paramedic of the Year as well to take a couple photographs in the other room, and then all this will remain set up for those that want to take everything that they want in the room here. Now, for everybody behind, I ask that you help me in congratulating everybody from 422501. Go forth and do great things. Congratulations. You're here.